House Republicans say they have a spending plan that can fund Connecticut's priorities while saving hundreds of millions of dollars. They called their $55.4 billion two-year plan a reality check budget. They say they can raise Medicaid reimbursement rates, move those public benefits charges off your electricity bill, and much more. But the Democrats say they are not on board with this.
A budget is about priorities, and House Republicans are prioritizing taxpayers and small businesses.
It's fine. We want to take away raises from all those people that they would otherwise advocate and protect.
Now, spokesperson for Governor Lamont issued a statement echoing some of those statements, saying the proposal is full of, quote, vague cuts and unrealistic staffing savings. All sides are trying to reach a deal on a new budget before the session ends on June 4th. So why don't we dig into the numbers of all of this? Republican leader in the House, Vincent Candelora, joins us now with a little more on the House Republicans' budget. So let's talk about the comment from the governor's office. Those are vague cuts. What's your response?
Yeah. Well, they said that 2 years ago, and guess what? They adopted those cuts. So they could say what they want, but bottom line, we really methodically went through each agency to see what their hiring practices are. We don't lay off any positions. We are just marrying up our spending to what the actual positions are that are needed. So that's how we achieve our savings. It's simple. We just trim the fat.
So I want to dig into some of it. One of the biggest concerns, too, on a bigger picture level is if the federal government decides to cut funding, whether it's education, whether it's environmental programs, however, there are some concerns that our core services could suffer. So how would this budget address that?
Yeah. So, I mean, Democrats have continued to say we need to spend more because we're worried about federal cuts. And every cut they've pointed to have not translated to a realistic cut for Connecticut. But we have a rainy day fund and we have a contingency reserve in the revenue cap that's set aside to deal with any of those cuts. We all think possibly Medicaid might see a cut,
right,
but we're proposing to increase rates because right now our healthcare system is in crisis. Connecticut's ignored that for too long. They've been underpaying. We've got to keep up with inflation and with modern medicine. And so our budget does just that.
So reimbursement rates have been an issue for years.
For years.
It's been an across the board increase hasn't happened since 2008. There's piecemeal increases along the way. But how does this address it? Were you talking about an across the board increase in reimbursement rates?
Yeah, I mean, we have a Medicaid study, rate report that came out, and we comply with that report and fill in what is recommended for reimbursements. Some have been increased, others have been ignored for over a decade.
Right.
This just addresses all of those recommendations.
So, talking about the rainy day fund, Speaker Ritter says he believes that $1.4 billion rainy day fund could disappear very quickly. That's happened before. We've had a chance where we've had to spend it down very quickly. Funding K through 12 schools, universities. You're against changing the spending caps. You think you can get all this done without changing the spending caps?
Yeah, the spending caps allow for an additional $1 billion to be spent because of inflation. Democrats want to go $1.6 billion or even over that number. So if you believe dark clouds are coming, cuts are coming, why are you spending in excess of $2.6 billion? It's hard to reconcile with us, and it is a matter of priority. At the same time that they're overspending, they're ignoring contractual obligations. We have over $300 million of unfunded health care obligations that have to be paid out of the comptroller's office. Democrats don't budget for that. So they've really put us on a dangerous path with their proposal. Our proposal, at least, is honest. It funds all of those needs.
So one of the other things you mentioned this week was a 2-year wage freeze for state employees across the board. In your soundbite that we played here on NBC Connecticut, 30-some% over the last several years is significant. I want to address one part of it, though. We're in desperate need for more state troopers. We need we need 90 or more. We need a lot. So how would that how can you settle the two of those?
Well, even with the wage increases of 33% plus a $3,500 bonus, we're still not able to recruit our troopers. And I think it has more to do with the morale of the police accountability bill that restricted a lot of their abilities to hire, that impacted their personal liability. We see time and again, every time they act, they get investigated and it ends up all over the news. Those are the areas that we have to look at, is how do we improve morale? Just increasing the raises hasn't done that in the past.
Right.
So we got to try something different.
Does the accountability bill need to be revisited?
Absolutely it does. And we have proposals time and again Republicans have put forth to make their jobs better for them.
No secret, Connecticut's expensive. We have the highest electricity rates, or at least the second highest. Rents are impossibly high. We're not building a lot of houses, so the market continues to go up. You've mentioned tax relief over the years. How does your budget address that?
Yeah, this budget still even does that. So, number one, we have rate relief on our electric bills. We're shifting some of those public policies that really belong in the state budget, not on people's electric bills. We're taking that off. It reduces the public bill benefit charges by 24%. And we're also looking at bringing in the convenience tax from New York. Connecticut has given up $320 million a year of income tax. We're saying, you know what? New York shouldn't be taking that money. Connecticut should be getting it. And that money should be used for tax cuts for our residents.
That seems like it's going to be a tough hurdle, though. That's been talked about before, but it's never really gotten even close to the finish line.
Right.
Why would this be any different?
We need a lawsuit. So we put money in our budget, $2 million for William Tong, the Attorney General, to bring a lawsuit against New York. I think we would be successful. People that are working in the state of Connecticut for a New York company should be paying taxes in Connecticut, not New York.
Especially if they're working remotely and not even heading into the city, but maybe once a week.
That's right.
Representative Candelora, we have to leave it there. We appreciate your time.